So here we go, and this week I am doing something that you, the people who watch my YouTube videos, have actually asked me for, and I have bought not just one, but two pit bikes. And it's not the nice ones that you can see behind me over there, they actually belong to my mate. It is these two right here that are laying on the floor. So let's take a look at what I've got. What I've actually got are two very rough examples of two very similar pit bikes. Starting with this Welsh pit bike. I know it's a 140cc and it is Welsh pit bike, but that is about all I know about it. Clutch seems to work, brakes seem to work, the rear caliper is seized on. It's definitely going to need a new chain and sprocket and a hell of a lot of cleaning because it has got half of a garden growing out of the back of it, and some cracked plastics. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty rough, but it is a pit bike. Next up, we've got probably the most common pit bike out there. It is a Stomp Z3 140. So again, 140cc. Similar story, back wheel or rear brakes are binding, so that back wheel is not turning. Clutch does seem to work because it selects gears, and there is compression on both bikes. And my mate that I bought them off assured me that these will probably start with very little effort because it doesn't matter what you do to them. Apparently, they will just run. I really have thrown myself in the deep end a bit here with these because I know absolutely nothing about pit bikes. I know very little about motorbikes and mechanics in general. Only, what I know is what you've seen so far if you're a regular viewer of this channel. But you know me, I like to give a challenge. I like to buy from the very bottom of the market and get the worst example of something. So the only way is up. A bit tucked into the corner over here in the workshop because these bikes don't actually have kickstands on them, or side stands, whatever you want to call them, and I don't currently have one of those motorcycle lifty table things to make my life a bit easier, so I may have to pick them up and put them on the workbenches over there to give them a really good going over. And there's probably definitely going to be some issues along the way that I haven't already picked up on. I mean, one that you can actually see here is frame on the Stomp is actually snapped. I mean, that whole thing moves and it looks like there was a rod or something that is supposed to, that right there is supposed to sit there. That bit is attached, but that is something we will have to tackle later down the line. Oh, I know these things are a bit worse for wear. They have been sitting outside, not run for well over a year. So let's put my mate's theory to the test and see if they will start. First up, let's try the Stomp. That was very, very surprising. I mean, I turned the fuel tap and loads of fuel poured out through the overflow or whatever from the carb. So that's probably going to need taking a look at because I don't think it should be leaking fuel just by turning the fuel tap on. But it starts. That thing's been sat outside for well over a year. The fuel in it must be over a year old. In fact, he told me it hasn't run since fuel was about £1.10 a litre, which here in the UK, it hasn't been that cheap for, I reckon, getting on for 2 years. So who knows? But I am absolutely amazed that that one just started. I mean, it's not a runner yet, but it starts. Let's try the other one. I tried kicking this one over. I did notice that there was no ignition lead on it, just here. So I actually had to borrow that one off the Stomp. So I fitted that quickly. Let's give it a kick. It was never going to be that easy, but I'm not actually sure there's any fuel in this one. So let's try a bit of fresh petrol and then we'll try kick it again. With a bit of fresh petrol and the choke on, let's try it again. Okay, so for a few almost starts there, I mean, it ran for a little bit and then there was a couple of other weird noises going on, a bit of popping and things like that. But there are no air filters on them, so they're going to be running too rich, lean. Can't remember which one it is now. But either way, those carbs are probably going to need to come off. I'm going to have a good clean because there's going to be lots of old fuel and things like that in them. But they start, they fire up. That is a really good starting point, especially considering they're going to need a lot of cosmetic work. So I guess the question is now, do I use parts from the Stomp to fix the Welsh pit bike? Because the Welsh pit bike needs, you know, front brake caliper, brakes, brake lever, and some other bits here or there. And obviously the Stomp has got the broken frame, which I have no idea if I can buy a part for that or whether that's going to need welding or a new frame. I'm not really sure. Or do I just fix them, buy new parts together for the both of them, clean them up and take them out and get them dirty again? Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with them or how you think I should tackle them. Regardless of how I decide to proceed with them, they're both going to need new chains and probably sprockets because that is rusted solid. They're both going to need to have the rear calipers off and probably have the brakes changed and the brake fluid replaced because on both of them, they are binding and solid, so you cannot move them around very easily at all. And obviously, they're going to need an incredibly good clean down so that I can see how faded the plastics are or whether I can bring those back, and that's going to need replacing. And there's going to be obviously lots of other bits along the way. And I cannot wait to get those things clean because half hour of moving them around and my hands are grubby as hell, so gloves is the way forward with these, I think. Before I go away and start looking at how much parts are going to cost me to get these things back up and running the way they should be, it's probably about time I tell you how much I actually paid for them and you can decide whether or not I did get a bargain. Now in good running order, these things sell for, I don't know, 400 to 600 quid based on Facebook Marketplace, and a bad spares or repair one somewhere between 100 and 150 quid. So bear in mind I bought two. Not one, two. And I did buy them from a friend, so I did have a little bit of an unfair advantage compared to just buying them off some total stranger on Facebook Marketplace. And obviously, given the state they're in and the fact they've been sat out his garden doing nothing for 1 to 2 years, he had to obviously give me a fair price for them. And I think I got more than a fair price for them because he actually told me to just give him £80. Yes, £80 for not one, but two pit bikes. I think that seemed like a really good starting point for this project. I mean, I know absolutely nothing about pit bikes, so I have no idea how much these are going to cost me to fix. But obviously I did buy them from a friend who knows I run a YouTube channel, and he thought these would be perfect for the channel, which, given all the comments on the last video asking me to do pit bikes, then they are perfect for the channel. So thank you very much, Jack, for helping me out with these. So for now, that is it for this video because I need to now go away and find some parts for those pit bikes. But if you're watching this video and you're not already subscribed to the channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss anything that is to come with these bikes and anything else that I've got going on the channel, especially in the next few weeks, because there are lots of different projects here all coming out in the next few weeks. So that is it for this week. So until next week's video, thank you all for watching.